Shalom Aleichem, everyone. We're continuing here in Hachseik's learning of the Pele Yoetz. Day number 106. We are in the chapter of Bas, of daughter, and we're speaking about marrying off your daughter to a Talmid Chacham, to a Torah scholar, what you should be looking for in a match for your daughter, a young chassan, a young groom. And he writes like this, V'riv la'Hashem im ashirei am. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to contend with the wealthy people of the nation. Asher kabir matzah yadam ha'in asakum v'vakshin l'zavek bitam. They have a lot of money in their hands, and they desire to marry off their daughter im bacharim mibnei gilam ashim kamosim. They want to marry off their daughter to young men that are in their class of wealth just like them. And they give a lot of money for a dowry to be able to get the most eligible, wealthy bachelor. Hazuzim, zazim, la'alafim, they throw away thousands and thousands of dollars. And now comes the Pele Yoetz in his scathing mussar and rebuke over here. They're willing to spend thousands and thousands of dollars for a young man to marry their daughter. He's a wealthy fellow, he comes from a rich family. However, they are kelim areikim, but they are empty vessels from Torah and Yiras Hashem and the fear of God. Everybody should understand that even if one's wealth goes up to the heavens, at the end of the day, that money, it's not what it's all about. And in the future, it could end up, it's going to go all the way down and get lost. A person closes their eyes for a moment from their money, and the next thing they know, it's gone. We've seen with our own eyes many times. Sometimes a person gets married, and they're wealthy beyond belief, or the family is wealthy beyond belief. And then they end up losing that money. And they have to go searching for bread. They need the handouts. That's how little they have at the end of the day. And even if the man remains very wealthy, the wife of that wealthy man, of that wealthy young man, is going to live a life of tsar, of pain. Because in general, her husband's not around very often. He's going always on business trips, flying here, flying there, boat rides and the like. In the olden days, they took boat rides. And that's the way that they could travel. But her husband is always busy, he's on the run, he's trying to make another dollar. His mind is always absorbed in the thoughts of another deal, another money, another million. He's constantly making calculations how he's going to become even richer. And even when they're together with each other, it's like, you go to the restaurant and you see a couple. They left the kids with a babysitter. She got all dressed up. He got dressed up a little bit. They're out there on a date. Everything looks wonderful, except they're both sitting there at the table on their cell phones texting somebody else. Maybe they're texting each other. Who knows? They don't even know how to talk to one another anymore. Well, the Ma'aseh says to Pele Yoetz that even if he's a rich guy and he's doing financially very well, solid, comfortable, and the like, but he's so absorbed in his business and making money, he's not even there. Umar ben Nechasim Arbedaiga, the more Nechasim, the more property, and the more possessions that you have, the more worries one has. And therefore, her husband is always going to be worried day and night about what he has and what he owns. Doesn't want to lose this, wants to make that. Mashkime kume achere sheves eichle lechem atzavim. The one who wakes up early and goes to sleep late, meaning he's busy all day long with his business dealings. So he's going to eichle lechem atzavim. They will end up eating the bread of sorrow. Means his wife is going to be left all by herself, entertaining herself, talking to herself, being by herself, because the husband is nowhere to be seen. He's busy the whole time trying to make money. And since that he's always absorbed and preoccupied with his business, and he's tense, Marbe ketati im ishta, he'll make a lot of fights with his wife. Aloi davar, on no reason at all. He's so he's uptight, he's stressed out. Big deal is coming tomorrow, and his wife, she serves him the dinner, and it wasn't what he was like. Hey, what are you doing? Chas v'chalila, says the Pele Yoetz, you have to be so careful who you marry. If you marry a person that's absorbed in his business beyond belief, so his midas, who knows where they're going to be found. Umitoich, ubiyoser yigdal, tzara, her tsar, her pain is going to grow even more. Imi yiras Hashem, if she's really a woman with yiras Hashem, she fears God. Biroi says, she sees her husband has no fear of Hashem. He's not so careful with mitzvahs. It's like many ignorant people, they don't know about this mitzvah, they don't know about that mitzvah, they're not careful with here, they're not makbid on this, so on and so forth. And his wife, she's a good Yireh Shemayim and Eishes Chayil. She's so disappointed in what she sees in her husband, it pains her. But that means that her whole life she's in pain and sorrow as a result of this. And however, if you marry off your daughter to a Talmid Chacham, how good is her portion going to be? How wonderful and pleasant is her inheritance going to be? She'll have a portion in this world and the world to come. Her whole life she'll live peacefully. She's going to find kavod, honor. She will not be lacking anything. You marry Talmid Chacham with his midas, with his ben adam lechavero, with his kedusha, with his ruchnis that he brings into the house. Even if you don't have a lot of money, and you might not be able to go on fancy trips and the like, but the quality of the husband that you're going to receive is heads and shoulders above the rest. And for that, it's kedai, says the Pele Yoetz. Don't look for money. Don't look for fortune. Don't look for fame. Look for a Talmid Chacham with his good midas and his menschlichkeit and living a life of Yiras Hashem and living his life according to the Torah and the mitzvahs. That's what will be best for your daughter. All the best.